OnePager 7.0 has been more than a year in the making and features a number of significant upgrades compared to the previous version 6.1. The first thing you'll notice with OnePager 7.0 is that it has a new, modernized user interface. Every screen in OnePager has been beautifully redesigned to not only be easier on the eyes, but to also make it easier to find the settings that you need more quickly. OnePager 7.0 also features significant enhancements to its Swimlane capabilities, including new multi-level swim lanes where you can nest up to 3 levels of swim lanes to better show the hierarchy of your project or program. In addition to multi-level swim lanes, we've also added numerous new swim lane formatting options that will be covered later in this video. We've also simplified layout options, which makes it easier than ever before to switch from a timeline to a Gantt chart layout with the click of a button. In addition, OnePager 7.0 now supports smart text positioning. If you've ever created a chart where the text was hard to read because there was too much overlap or not enough white space, OnePager can now help you automatically place text in a way that optimizes readability. We've also made it easier to fine-tune the formatting and layout of individual text elements as needed. Let's take a more detailed look at the new multiple levels of swim lanes that OnePager 7.0 supports. In this project schedule, we have 3 outline levels in the WBS, equating to program, project, and phase. The process to set up multi-level swim lanes is very similar to setting up a single level in earlier versions of OnePager. You just need to define more levels underneath the main swim lane level. We'll start by clicking on the Chart Properties button on the Home tab. On the Rows and Swim Lanes tab, notice that there are 3 sub-tabs for each level of swim lanes. Swim lanes are ordered left to right, so your left number 1 swim lane is always going to be the biggest grouping, while left number 3 will be the smallest grouping. In this example, we have already set the first swim lane to the level 1 summary name. Then we'll set the second swim lane to the level 2 summary name. And finally, we'll set the third swim lane to the level 3 summary name. When you click OK, OnePager will group your chart 3 times instead of 1. All of the tasks with the same level 3 parent task will end up in the third swim lane. Those swim lanes, in turn, will be grouped into a second swim lane whenever they share the same parent task. And those swim lanes, finally, will be grouped one more time into the first swim lane, again, whenever they also share the same parent task. Most users are happy with simply grouping their swim lanes. But if you need to control the formatting of your swim lanes to customize headers, background colors, or other cosmetic elements, you can click on the Swim Lane Formatting button for more advanced options. Each of OnePager's 3 swim lane levels has its own swim lane formatting controls, so if you do use multiple swim lane levels, be sure that you are formatting the correct level when you click on this button. OnePager has always supported timeline and Gantt chart layouts, but in OnePager 7.0, we've made it a lot easier to find these settings and to refine the look and feel of your chart. As a refresher, let's review the different layout options that OnePager offers. Most of the time, users either want a timeline layout like we see here, or a Gantt chart layout. You can change these settings by going to the Home tab, then to the Chart Properties button, and then to the Rows and Swim Lanes tab. The first section covers the layout of your chart. OnePager gives you the option of either a Gantt chart layout with 1 task per row, or a timeline layout with multiple tasks lined up left to right in the same row. Let's take a look at this example project plan. If we import these tasks from the project plan into OnePager and choose a Gantt chart layout, we'll get a chart like this. If we want to create a timeline layout instead, we need to tell OnePager how to align the tasks for the timeline. In other words, which tasks should be lined up with each other and which tasks should be in their own row. If we look at the example project plan again, there are different summary tasks. The second level of summary tasks looks like a good way to create sequences of tasks, so we can tell OnePager to create timelines based on the level 2 summary name. We probably also want OnePager to display the parent task next to each timeline, and we can do that by turning on a text column to display the Level 2 summary name for each row. With these settings in place, OnePager will automatically align tasks that share the same Level 2 parent task. Notice that the second timeline is not perfectly condensed down to one row. This is because of overlap between some of the collected tasks. When creating a timeline layout, OnePager lets you either allow or avoid overlap. If we choose not to stagger overlapping tasks instead, OnePager will ignore the fact that some of the tasks are scheduled at the same time and will place them all in one row no matter what. OnePager 7.0 offers significant improvements to text layout so that charts with lots of detail can still be easy to read. OnePager's new Smart Text Optimization engine features two main components: automatic text positioning that seeks white space in your chart, and escape paths that help squeeze long text into tight spaces. Let's start with the automatic text positioning. In your chart, go to Home, Chart Properties, Taskbars, and then click on the Taskbar Label Properties button. You'll see a setting for the label position. Sometimes this setting is defaulted to something simple. For example, if it's set to left, then all of the text in your chart will go to the left of the bar. OnePager has a number of choices that start with the phrase best fit. All of these best fit algorithms are smarter than simple text positioning. Instead, they determine where white space exists in your chart and then automatically position your text into the areas of the chart that are the least cluttered. There are three main best fit modes. Best fit all directions will position text to the left, right, top, or bottom of a task or milestone, or within the task shape itself. Best fit left-right will position text to the left or right of a task or milestone, or within the task shape. It's similar to best fit all directions, but text is never positioned above or below. Best fit above-below is the opposite. All text will either go above or below the tasks and milestones, never to the left or right. When using a best fit position that has the potential to send text above or below, it's usually a good idea for your default row height to be a little bit taller, so there's more white space above or below the tasks or milestones to position the text. This is especially true for timeline layouts where multiple tasks are lined up in the same row. To do this, first go to the Taskbars tab of Chart Properties to see how tall your taskbars are. In this case, they're about 1/3 of an inch. Now, on the Page Layout tab, double-check to make sure that your default row height is roughly 3 times as tall as your default taskbar height. In this case, each row is an inch tall, which is perfect. Escape paths are ways that OnePager can make more drastic adjustments to the text in your chart when it determines that no amount of repositioning text is going to enable things to fit nicely. Each escape path can be turned on or off depending on your preferences. To configure escape paths, go back to the Taskbars tab and click on the Taskbar Label Properties button again. Make sure that the main checkbox for Smart Labeling is turned on. Assuming so, you will see a series of 4 different escape paths that you can choose. Each escape path can be turned on or off, configured, and prioritized relative to the others to give you the maximum flexibility. Our recommendation is to turn on text wrapping and to configure it to wrap up to 2 lines of text. This is not a very drastic change, but it gives OnePager lots to work with when it's optimizing your text. If you find that text wrapping alone doesn't quite do the trick, you can either increase the number of lines of wrapping to allow, or potentially turn on one of the other 3 escape paths to supplement. When you have more than one escape path turned on, it's a good idea to prioritize them so that you know which paths OnePager will apply first. Here's an overview of what each of the escape paths does. Wrapping places a line break in your text up to a specified number of lines to take advantage of available vertical space when there isn't enough horizontal space. This is useful for very long task names. In this example, each of the milestones is wrapped across 2 lines instead of 1. Stair steps are similar to comment boxes. They enable text to jump far above, or in this case below, the main content of your row so that the text can get out of the way of other elements of your chart. You can configure how high stair steps should jump. Truncation shortens your text when it's too small to fit in a given amount of space. Here, the first 2 tasks have their names truncated. You can tell OnePager how much truncation is acceptable. Finally, font shrinking is exactly what it sounds like. OnePager will reduce the font of your text down to a certain threshold in order to get that text to fit in a specific space. In this example, the font of the first task is reduced quite a bit, but the second task only requires slight font reduction to achieve the perfect fit. For more information, please review our other videos, or you can visit onepager.com/support or email us at support@onepager.com.